Can you believe, like, in just a few weeks, it's gonna be a decade? Wow, time has completely flied, and I'm sure you feel the same way too. So I was just sitting down, you know, in the process of doing an activity, and it was a activity in regards to reviewing this whole decade of my life and just reflecting and seeing, you know, what I have done, what I've accomplished, and things of that nature. And I was like, you know what? Let me like briefly really go through this with you, because I think it would be a great idea if you actually participate in this activity as well. So now, if you think about it, it's just crazy to me. It's been 10 years and a lot has happened to me personally in my life, like crazy things. And as you get to know me more, perhaps I'll be able to share some of those things with you. But at the same time, I'm sure it's really easy for us to fall into moments of despair, like I haven't even achieved anything. Oh my God, it's been 10 years. I'm getting older. I still have not, you know, started that business I wanted to do, or I still haven't started the career I wanted to do. I still haven't gone back to school. Whatever it is, I'm sure we are upset about something, or maybe we still got that dusty that we need to clean out our closet and let that toxic relationship go. Whatever it may be, now is the time that we can really help each other go over everything and think about what are we actually proud of. Okay, so I'm going to show you a brief idea of what you could do with this activity. I want you to you know, you can go to the Dollar Tree, get a journal, or if you have a piece of paper, whatever you want to do. If you want to type it out, I always think it's kind of good to write it out. It kind of reminds me of my schoolgirl days, but you know. So anyways, it's a decade review of my life. So you're gonna call it a decade review of my life, right? And I have the 2010s here. So in the first section, what you're gonna do, you're gonna write down what I'm proud of. Okay, so I want you to think of, okay, it doesn't mean you had to start this Fortune 500 company or anything like that. If you did, well, kudos to you. Okay, holla at me, tell you girl how you did it. But I need for you to think of your obstacles that, you know, that you overcame, as well as your accomplishments and anything else that you could think of. Okay, so you could put that down in point form notes. Just briefly, not briefly, but think of everything that you're proud of, because 10 years is long. And if you have a hard time trying to like remember what even happened in the last 10 years, I'm sure there's some major things, like maybe you've had a divorce or you got married, what have you. But if there's anything that needs to jog your memory, you can go back and look at your old journals if you do journal writing, as well as your agendas, which some people call journals too, basically where you have, you know, your planners. Even pictures back in, you know, sometimes with the pictures, I think you could track like the dates and things of that nature, and things of that. So that could help you like jog your memory. Okay, and then after you write down what you're proud of, I want you to actually really analyze it a bit more, and I want you to write down what was the most important thing that you are proud of and why. Okay, now I'm also a business owner of Organic Beauté Collections. You could check me out at organicbeautecollections.com. And I think the biggest accomplishment for myself has been through, I went through a lot of hardships, and led me to homelessness, which you could check out a video on that channel. I'll put a link before. I left an abusive marriage, so that was crazy. And you know what? I was just like really down and out, and I somehow, through the grace of God, was able to create a business from scratch. I still have ups and downs with it, but I'm really happy that I was able to overcome that obstacle, and I'm still pushing through. So that's just a little something personal about myself. You know, I'm putting myself out here even on this video too. So I want you to think of something that you've accomplished, right? So it may be something like crazy, like I just mentioned. It may not be like no one wants to go through something like that, but you did, and you went through it. And I'm sure at the moment when you went through something, you felt like you were just like gonna die any moment now, or you just want to crawl under a rock and hide from everything, but you made it. Okay, so I want you to write that down. If that's one of your major accomplishments, that you got through something like that, or something similar, or even worse, whatever it may be. It could even be something great. It doesn't have to be something negative, right? And even if it's negative, sometimes that negative, you got to turn it into positive, like I did. Okay, so I want you to, again, what was most important and why? That's important. You could write in a couple sentences, or how much more it doesn't matter. There's no limit. Just write down what is the most important thing that you're proud of and why. Okay, and then I want you to get to the second section, and the second section you're gonna call my life lessons. And if you're like, well, what would that be? Hint, hint, they'll be your mistakes that you have made, or maybe some things you know, if you think back, that you would have done differently. So, if you think about your mistakes, the key reason why I want you to do this is because I want you to write down, the next question is, what have you learned over the last 10 years? Okay, what have you learned over the last 10 years? Okay, and I really want you to dig deep with yourself and think of game-changing life lessons that has brought you to this point. Okay, it's really important that you do this, because once that you do this, I want you to be able to not bring this, these bad habits, or these, sometimes we do some foolish things, into the next decade that we're about to approach, God's willing. So I need for you to really take the time. I don't care how ugly it is. Look, I just shared something with you, and you have to be honest with yourself, or else you're just going to keep repeating the same thing again. And you know what they say, if you constantly repeat the same thing, it's like insanity at that point. Okay, so it's really important that you look at your life lessons, whether they're good, they're bad. Just look at your mistakes and be honest with yourself and take that ownership. And I don't want you to be down, because you know what? Every day is a new day to be better than you were the day before. And if you don't take time to reflect on this, then you're bound to repeat it. Okay, so you got to go back on your own history, or you're bound to repeat it. All right, so I would like to continue this into a series. This is just the first part. I just wanted to get you started. Hopefully we could do some other activities related to prepare us for the new year. In the meantime, you could follow me on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook at Khadijah Laticia, and that's I'm actually going to put everything in the link below. Pretty new on these social media following, so I'm trying to get with that, but I really want to connect with you. And I want you to actually hashtag me at KL Decade in Review, and tell me, give me a little bit of insight of what you came up with. I really want to cheer you on as well in regards to these activities. Let me know what you're proud of. Let me know what you've learned in the 10 years, whatever you would like to share. So again, you could hashtag me here. And please subscribe to my email list at khadijahlaticia.com. It's really important that you check the link in the description box below. I'll put some links where we could definitely stay connected, girls. So share with the sister. I want to know exactly what you've learned as well. I love learning from other people as well, and I think that's the best way to gain wisdom. Okay, so again, I would like to, God's willing, see you next week, and I'm going to follow up with the other lessons. But so far, again, let's go over it real quick. Remember, section 1, what I'm proud of. Okay, and you need to think about the most important and why. And section 2, I want you to think about your life lessons, okay? And don't beat up on yourself. It's about, you gotta come from a really honest and open place with yourself. If you don't love yourself, who's gonna love you, girl? You gotta love yourself, okay? So don't be hard on yourself. These are important steps that you need to take, because let me tell you, we're about to head into the next decade. Like, what? We got this, okay? So until next time, peace and love.